Ryan. A young woman was descending the grand staircase of her family's expensive estate at 8 p.m. The intricate woodwork of the balustrades glinted in the evening candlelight. Suddenly, her stepmother's voice echoed through the hallway. Vivian, where are you going? Her father, a stern faced man, looked up from his newspaper in the drawing room, his gaze following her every move. Vine's stepmother was a woman of contradictions, sweet and charming in front of her father, yet bitter and resentful behind his back. Vine herself did not like this woman, and the feeling was mutual. As her stepmother asked her where she was going, Vine could not help but feel a pang of annoyance. She knew that her stepmother was only pretending to be sweet in front of her father. Vine's father, still sitting in his armchair, looked up from his newspaper and spoke up. Vine father, it's late, Vine, and you know you are not allowed to be out this late. His voice was stern and authoritative. His gaze fixed with Vine. Vine, but Dad, I promised my friends to spend some time with them, she replied. Her father leaned back in his armchair, his expression stern. Rules are rules, Vine. You know you are not allowed to go out at this hour. Her stepmother chimed in, her voice filled with false concern. Vivian, he's right, sweetheart. It's not safe for you to be out this late. Vine's gaze flicked towards her stepmother, and her jaw clenched as she restrained herself from saying something snarky. Before she said something, she heard footsteps and looked up to see her stepsister Sophia descending the stairs wearing a revealing dress. Vine could not help but roll her eyes at her Sophia's attire. She knew that she was probably on her way to some party or gathering where she would no doubt use her good looks and charisma to attract attention. Sophia is a beautiful woman. She is 2 years younger than Vian. When Vian was 10 years old, Sophia and Vivian come in that house. Vivian is her father's secretary, and her father cheated Vian's mother with Vivian, and because of this, she is damned society. And because of this, Vian hates this woman so much. Her stepsister smirked at Vian, then turned to her mother. Sophia, I am going out with my friend, she announced, her voice dripping with entitlement. Vivian, okay, sweetie, have fun and be safe, their mother replied, her tone indignant. Her father then peeped up, a fond smile on his face, as he addressed her stepsister. Bye, sweetheart, have a good time. Van watched her stepsister as she headed towards the door, jealousy prickling at the back of her mind. Van, but Dad, why can't she go out and have fun while you won't let me? She protested. Her father, annoyed with her instance, replied firmly. Stop it, Van. Sophia is your little sister. Let her enjoy her life. You should just go to your room now. Vine felt a surge of frustration and indignation well up within her. It seemed unfair that her stepsister was allowed to go out and have fun while she was stuck at home. She opened her mouth to protest again, but her father's stern expression and the finality in his voice shut her mouth. Vine shot a resentful glare at her stepmother, who had been silently watching the exchange with a smug expression on her face. Feeling defeated, Vine turned and stormed up the stairs at her room. Vine entered her room and threw her purse down onto the bed with a huff. She was foaming with anger, the memory of her stepmother's smug expression and her father's dismissal still fresh in her mind. Vine's phone pinged, breaking her out of her train of thought. She saw that it was a call from her best friend Barik. Barik, hey, why are not you coming? We all are waiting for you. It's getting late. Barik's voice was impatient on the other end of the phone. Vine signed and began to explain the situation to him, spilling out her frustration and annoyance. With her stepmother and stepsister, Barik listened quietly, already knowing the story all too well. There was a brief moment of quiet on the line, and then Barik spoke, his voice gentle and reassuring. Barik, it's okay, Vine, don't be disheartened. And you know, I am always here for you. Just take it easy now, okay? Vine felt the tension in her shoulder loosen slightly at his words. She knew that Barik truly cared about her and understood her plight better than anyone else. Vine thanked Barik, she murmured, I don't know what I would do without you. Barik chuckled softly on the other end of the line. Barik, hey, what are best friends for, right? Just try not to let this whole situation get to you too much. Vine sighed wearily. Easier said than done, she muttered. Vine had just finished her call with Barik, her spirits somewhat lifted by his words of comfort and understanding. Just as she was setting her phone down, she heard the sound of footsteps approaching her door, followed by a knock. The door opened, revealing Vivian, Vine's stepmother. Vine braced herself, preparing for the inevitable confrontation. Vivian strode into Vine's room, a slight smile on her face. She clearly could not wait for Vine's reaction. Vivian leaned against the wall, crossing her arms and waiting for Vine to speak. Vine raised an eyebrow, her voice tinged with annoyance. Vine, why are you here? She asked. Vivian responded with a sweet smile and a disingenuous tone. Vivian, oh, I was just worried about you. I thought you might be crying because your father did not allow you to go out with your friends. Vine rolled her eyes at her stepmother, false concern. Vine, like you actually care, she retorted, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Vivian, you're right, I don't care, she said, her voice sharp. I enjoy seeing you like this, all helpless and frustrated. Vine, her eyes flashing with anger, responded with venom. Vine, and do you think I care about your opinion? She snapped. I hate you because of you. My father cheated on my mother and she attempted suicide. Vivian chuckled coldly, unfazed by Vine's impatient words. Vivian, oh, she replied mockingly, your mother was weak and pathetic, and you are just like her, a pathetic little girl. Vine clenched her fist, her anger spiraling out of control. Vine, you are lucky my father is protecting you, she spat. If it were not for him, I would have made your life a living hell from the moment you stepped into my house. Vivian raised an eyebrow, feigning surprise. Vivian, oh, I am so scared, she taunted, her voice dripping with sarcasm. You really think you could do anything to me, you insignificant little brat? Vine jaw tightened, her eyes narrowing with hatred. Vine, one day, she hissed, one day I will get the upper hand and you will pay for everything. You will regret every stepping into this house and ruining my family's life. Vivian merely chuckled, seemingly unconcerned by Vian's threat. Vivian, oh honey, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. You are delusional if you think you have even a silver of power here. Your father chose me, not your weak little mother. You are just a minor inconvenience that I have to tolerate. Vian's face flushed with anger, her fist clenching tighter. Vian, you are the one who's delusional, she retorted, her voice shaking with suppressed rage. My father only chose you because you are young and pretty. Once he realizes you are nothing but a gold digger, he will toss you aside just like he did my mother. And your daughter Sophia is no better than you, she shot back. Did you see how she dressed? She just as much of gold digger as you are, a shameless, manipulative slut. Vivian's face darkened at Vian's harsh word, her composure fluttering for a brief moment. Vivian, you have no right to speak about my daughter like that, she spat, her voice losing its usual smugness. Vine sneered, reaching the opportunity to hit a nerve. Vine, oh, but I do, she retorted, her eyes challenging. Your little darling Sophia is just a carbon copy of you, a selfish brat who will use anyone and anything to get what she wants. Vivian's face contorted with anger as she sternly slapped Vine hard across the face. Vivian, shut your mouth, or I will go straight to your father and tell him how you are talking shit for your sister. And I will surely tell him that you are jealous of her and doing bad things for her. And you know how much he loves her more than you, his own daughter. She snapped, her voice filling with venomous malice. Vine stumbled backwards, her cheeks stinging with pain from the force of the slap. She clenched her jaw, trying to hold back her own anger and tear. Vivian smirked, her face twisted with satisfaction. Vivian, you better watch your tongue, she warned, her eyes narrowing with that challenging glare. You're already on thin ice with your father, and I would not hesitate to make things worse for you if you keep up with your insolent behavior. Vine gritted her teeth, her eyes shimmering with unshut tears. She hated being so easily cowed by Vivian, but she knew she had to treat it carefully. One wrong move and her already strained relationship with her father would only worsen. Vivian saw the flicker of defeat in Vian's eyes and could not help but Her success. Vivian, that's right, she said smugly, her voice dripping with self importance. You are weak, just like your mother. You can't even stand up for yourself. Van, her cheeks still stinging from the slap, lifted her chin defiantly. Van, get out of my room, she demanded, her voice strained but firm. I am done listening to your nonsense. Vivian, you are not in a position to give orders, darling, she replied, her voice dripping with condescension. With a defeated expression, Van muttered, Van, just please, please. Vivian chuckled, enjoying the satisfaction of seeing Vian humble. Vivian, I will leave, but only because I can't stand looking at your pathetic face anymore. She sneered before stirring out of the room, leaving Vian alone with her swirling thoughts and aching cheek. Vian sat down on her bed, her eyes staring blankly at the wall, but her tears did not come. Deep down, she wanted to let her emotions out, cry, and unleash all the hurt and anger pent up inside of her. But she held back, knowing it would not change a thing. Her father had already made his choice, and no amount of tears would change that. The last time when she let her tears fall, the day when her mother died, she clenched her face, her expression a stoic mask, concealing the maelstrom of emotion raging within her.